Hey guys,
Welcome back to the vlog.
I'm Greg.
I'm Kim, and we're with Enigma Paranormal Research and Investigation. As you can tell, we're a little tired. There's been a lot of things going on. But, so we put the question out there, what did you guys want to hear about next? And the most common question was, what?
How does this compare to things you see on TV and in the movies? You know, how do you guys conduct your investigations?
So, to answer that question, investigations in real life versus investigations on television shows.
Takes a very long time.
It does, and it's actually not quite as easy as it looks.
No.
There's a lot of time and sweat put into it. So, I think first things first is that we do a lot of research into the area before we actually investigate. So it takes me about 3 days to a whole week to investigate one area before we actually go for the on-site investigation. When we arrive at the investigation, we have to set everything up. So that's pretty much the same. But what's different is that our investigations are not quite as drama-filled as it seems to be on television. They amp a lot of things up. They hype a lot of things up because they have to make it interesting. Mm-hmm. In reality, it kind of looks like this. So in reality, when it comes to investigations, it can be really interesting or it can be pretty boring. Mm-hmm. You know, there could be hours where you get absolutely no activity. And
the reality is that most of the time when we're on a case, we can't really tell if there is anything. A lot of it comes down to reviewing the evidence.
Yeah. So, to compare, we thought we'd tell you exactly what happens when it goes into our investigations and our reviewing of evidence.
Yeah.
Oh, reviewing evidence. So what happens during investigations is that you generally will get a call and I'll interview the person, or Greg will interview the person depending on who answers the call. Mm-hmm. And then it takes about a week to research. Yeah, a week of research.
So what kind of stuff are you looking for when you do your research?
What I'm looking for is I'm looking for ownership history. I'm looking for land history. Looking for any kind of anything. I want to know exactly what has taken place on the property or in the house itself. There are a lot of different avenues you can go to get that information. Personally, I don't think you need to pay for it. I think you can do it all yourself. So that's why we do it ourselves. It's important though, because you need to know what you're going into. Is this something where something traumatic has happened? Is this something that has just been passed down through the family? Something simple as that can cause a residual haunting. That is another video where we'll talk about the different type of hauntings there. Very excited about that one. We got something special for you for that one. Okay. So after we do the research, we will get the team together, go off to the place that we're investigating, the location. It takes us about, an hour, 30 minutes to set up?
Yeah, 30, 45 minutes to set up. Set up the cameras, do a sweep of the area, set up our recorders, get a map drawn out to show where we've covered, prime locations. So that way we can make sure we're very thorough with what we do.
Mm-hmm. Now, something different that we do that a lot of groups may not do is that we want the homeowners to be there during the investigation. Mm-hmm. We use them kind of like trigger objects. We know that if they're the ones having this stuff happen, they need to be there. Mm-hmm. So, one thing that we don't talk about is the walkthrough. The walkthrough is pretty much the same, TV versus real life. You need to know where the hot spots are, and generally you will get that information over the phone, but it's different when you see it visually.
Right.
It helps to get the camera angles. It helps to get where we want recorders. all that kind of stuff. So,
and actually, one thing that's interesting with that is when you're watching on television and they're doing their walkthroughs, they don't usually have recorders. They don't analyze what's going on while they're speaking. And quite frankly, we've picked up some pretty good stuff just from the walkthroughs alone.
Yeah.
You say something that's happening, and then you might hear a voice that says, that's not what happened.
Yeah, we've gotten quite a bit of good evidence, actually, during the walkthrough itself.
Yeah.
Because usually, especially if it's an intelligent haunting, they want to know why we're there. And they usually ask.
Yeah.
So, during the investigation, since right now there's 3 of us, which we actually may have a new member coming on board. We just interviewed her today.
Pretty excited about that.
Yeah, I think she's going to be great.
Yeah.
We will break into teams. And what that means is that 2 of us will begin the investigation. Generally speaking, it's myself and Tara, while Greg is watching the cameras outside. The DVR system we use doesn't have sound. We only use our digital recorders for that, but our Handycam does. So when we first go through, each team will have the Handycam and the digital recorders set up throughout the house. And we have one that we take with us just for walkthrough reasons. So, and it's really interesting because you can have a billion different digital recorders throughout a location and only get it on the one recorder you're holding as you're walking through.
Right.
Even though you have 2 recorders around you that are stationary. It's insane that way, but usually that's how it works. So they'll choose which one they want to talk to. Another interesting thing that happens is that we will never be by ourselves. Or at least we try not to be. Because it's really hard to actually document effectively that something's happening if you don't have someone else around you. So if something's happening to you, they can physically feel it or visually see it or hear it.
Yeah.
Generally speaking. We don't like to put people in that situation where they're going to be by themselves. Sometimes it does happen because you do have battery failure. That does happen.
Quite a bit.
Often. It does happen quite a bit.
Yeah.
So there'll be a few minutes in between. But other than that, we don't usually do people going on their own or to do lone sessions by themselves.
Right.
It's not really a safe practice, especially if you're in a structure that is falling down all around you. So, yeah, so let's talk about during the investigation itself. Whenever we're actually in there, it's not us provoking. We do not provoke. It's a personal preference of ours. We don't like to be disrespectful, both to whatever's there and to the homeowners.
Yeah.
Because we get to leave, the homeowners have to stay. So, another thing we do is we bring the homeowners in on the investigation, actually. They'll be considered a team member at that time. So, we will bring them in during EVP sessions, ghost box sessions, or just general investigations. Right. So, we do that quite often. Usually Greg's the one that gets to be with the homeowner. So, yeah. After the investigation's over, and we're about to wrap up, again, those investigations can go from 2 hours to 8 hours. It just kind of depends on the activity that's happening at that time. It can be really, really active up until 1 a.m. and then it flatlines. Or it could be active the entire night and we stay until 3 o'clock in the morning. So, again, people have asked a couple times, well, how long do you stay at locations? And again, it just matters on the activity.
Now, so far, we haven't had to do a full sundown to sun up. We don't do the overnight. We have lives outside of this.
We do. Now, we have had one investigation where we stayed there till pretty early in the morning.
Right.
But the activity was astounding. There was so much going on that it was impossible.
And there will be more.
And there will be more. We are actually planning something very special for that location. We'll be going back to that location, and you guys may have some access to that.
Mm-hmm. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, it's a later post. So, what happens after the investigation?
Reviewing the evidence.
You would think this would be the fun part. And it is. Except for it takes how long?
Well, depending on how long we're there. Say, for example, if we went the bare minimum 2 hours. We have 4 cameras on our DVR system. Times the 2 hours, 8 hours alone of just footage to watch. No audio, no handy cam, no digital audio recorders. Just video. It's like watching a silent movie on repeat.
Yeah.
And you're not watching it just once. You may see something and go, well, wait a second, did I see that? And go back and have to watch it again.
Yeah.
You know.
And the audio is the same way. It can take hours upon hours for us to go through it.
Yeah.
So, and I usually will do the initial listen to it, but then I hand it over to Craig because after 8+ hours of listening to audio, you don't know if you're hearing what you hear anymore. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, there's some breaks in between, but generally we try to, because we have clients that want answers. They want this information. And it can be pretty pressing. There's a lot of pressure behind it as well.
Plus, you know, we have jobs. We have things that we need to do outside of, you know, the paranormal research and investigation. So it's a lot. It is a lot.
It is a lot of work. You know, these shows make it seem like you're done with the evidence, and it's not that simple. It's really not. There's a lot that goes into evidence review. It takes days to go through evidence. It's not just a one-day turn around, throw it back out type of situation.
Right.
No matter how small scale the investigation was. Mm-hmm. So we wanted to show you guys a little bit of the behind the scenes of what it's like to be on an investigation. So here are some of our favorite clips from investigations.
Did you live near here?
Yes, you did. Car going out right outside.
That you know y'all are not welcome here if y'all are hurting people or roaming this.
They just came up.
Yeah, that they can be getting into stuff. Did it do it again?
Yeah, I think it's you.
Well, we remember the last house we were in, and it seemed to like me.
What about with the light?
You draw energy.
I do, because I told you I had that feeling in the other room. Nope.
That's not it.
That's what I was asking.
Alright guys, so that's some of our favorite footage we've had so far. Now, is that all inclusive? Absolutely not. That's not even our DVR system. That's just our handy cam. So, we want to know what you guys want to hear about. So, we really want to answer any questions you guys have and just be as open as possible with you. So, let us know down in the comments. What do you want to see? What do you want to know more about? We have some things planned that are coming up. We also have a few other things up our sleeves in the upcoming months that we're going to be doing. But we really want to cater to you guys. Let us know what kind of stuff you're looking for. And so until next time, guys, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys.